Good day! What? We're here. Who's here? Who are we? Bunny?
Roll call.
Bunny?
Hello, I am here.
A Wolfie! And?
Dune.
Anticlimactic as usual.
Okay, no.
Nailed it.
No.
Welcome
We'll do
back.
this again.
Welcome
And
back.
Dune!
Well, yeah, that was pretty...
There.
It's along the lines of who's that Pokemon? Dune!
Yeah.
God
No,
damn
but
it,
we've had him
Gus.
complained as the hidden character in a freaking unlock screen because he's so much darker compared to me and Fish when we're on webcam.
That's Jamie's fault. I blame her for that.
No, why are we here? We're here because I saw a video that pissed me off again. God, who would have thought you see something on the internet that would piss you off?
Me? Never.
You didn't tell me the video pissed him off.
I want it-
Yeah, he mentioned it to me too.
The subtle twist in all this.
He's just like, I'm so angry at this.
She worded it like this, and I quote. I can even pull the damn
Admittedly,
thing.
I think she had a little misunderstanding of what I meant until a
No,
little while
I
ago.
wanted a good, non-biased opinion, not being formed because somebody else felt a different way.
Yes.
You guys forget I have a very psychological background, so I like unbiased opinions.
So this is how it started. It started with me saying,
Listen, before you take your thinking of how this is going and saying, oh, I don't know, whatever. This is not me just about to bunk on religion, like, or anything like that.
"Oh, I understand
you
that."
Know, you know, for me, Fern, I have my respects for religion, all that jazz.
She's made that clear.
What's
At
made
least
me
that much.
annoyed is this guy has used scientific work by fucking geniuses who've been working for like hundreds of years to get to this point.
And he soiled it.
Yeah.
We'll put the link in the
Okay.
description.
We will show you this link. But it's like not every element of it is annoying. There's certain parts of it he's just interpreted in such a wrong way. And the thing that angers me about it is that there's so like you look in the comments, so many positive comments, and it's very, very positive. It doesn't seem that any. I mean, if there has been any comments with debates or anything,
No
I haven't
questionings.
seen. They're probably
looked
been removed or something. I don't know.
I looked in the comments section just for that, and I didn't see any of the comments I was looking for. I was like, this is odd.
Do you understand
They
what
were
I
removed.
mean? Then, yeah, you understand why I want to sort of debate this and give you my
Yeah.
understanding of the science that he's talking about to then explain to you why I think it's wrong. But then, I'm also open to your opinions of what his thesis, the word, sorry.
I thought you said feces.
Feces.
I thought he did too.
He's just gonna shit all
Sam,
over some science.
What are
Okay.
That's
words?
nasty.
But yeah, over his like way of interpreting it. Well, that's a good point. Like we've got a fair chunk there. Obviously, I'm gonna cut this up, so I'm not gonna cut it biasly or anything. You know, we both have our fair points and all that shit.
You're a fair man. I believe you won't be unfair.
I'm just gonna
He is
cut
very
out the,
fair. He never
the
sees the
jazzes
sun.
off, like joking about penis and how many Pidgeys you've caught.
Those are the best conversations.
Oh, that picture. I
Yeah.
remember that.
So this is what he bases his entire thing on. Which, yes, is a culmination of many different, like, research and lines of research, sorry. By now I should have put the picture up. Yeah, it, in a way, it uses all of the techniques that we know how to age the universe and just compiles it into one nice little package using all sorts of different imaging techniques. Like you must have heard about how as the universe expands further away from us, the light gets shifted and eventually it appears redder to us and gets redshifted.
Yeah, I know that because of you.
Oh, okay. Well, essentially, it's because the photons of light become stretched, and they get like push back further from the expansion, they lose energy and thus lower down into the spectrum, down into the infrared, which is, we have our visual spectrum of colors. Above that is ultraviolet, and then like high gamma radiation and all that. And then below the visual spectrum is infrared, and like TV signals and then radio signals and stuff like that.
Right.
So the fact that these stars are shifted, and we've seen the effect of the redshift in like nearby galaxies and stuff, we can use that with along with a certain type of supernova. I think it's a 1A supernova. It's just a particular kind that always blows up and becomes a certain brightness, so we can tell how far away it is. They say the common analogy is like, you have a car far away with its lights on. The lights aren't very bright, but you have a car closer up to you, the light's very bright. But if you know how bright the light is when it's very bright, you can tell how far away it is because of the diminishing factor of the light. The further away it is, the less brighter it appears. And that's also how we get distance and size of the galaxy. And when you go further back into that, you obviously, the older light is, the less energy it has, and thus it goes down and in the spectrums from, a light that comes out of a supernova will be very high energy and very high power, gamma rays or something, stuff that would kill us if it, ionize our atmosphere. That'd be us.
It'll kill us if we just look at it.
Yeah, that sort of thing, yeah. But then, after millions and billions of years, it reduces in the energy because it's just traveling and intrinsically loses energy just from traveling. Eventually it enters the lower spectrum of infrared and down into like radio spectrum and all that. That's where the WMAP and the I can't remember the name of the satellite that done it, but the image that they come out with is the cosmic microwave background, and you've probably seen that before. Spamming that to you both now, Foon and Wolf, and I think you know what I'm talking about, Bunny. The big disc of blue and stuff, yeah.
Seen this once before.
Yeah, that. How to explain? Derpy, derpy, derp. A derp.
What are words anymore?
Derp, derpy,
Essentially, that is just this satellite has gone up into space and it's just taken a background reading of radiation. But that one, the one that I sent you, is an accumulation of like many, many, many years of scanning and upgrading of satellites, which is why you can see some of the older ones. They're very blurry. There's just sort of red splotches, and I've chucked the image up on screen probably before this, but it was just red and blue splotches. But on this one, you can see it's a somewhat higher resolution, you could say. I wouldn't know how else to say it, but the dots are more defined. And what scientific method leads us to believe is that this was the original density of matter when matter could first interact with anything. Because beyond a certain point of heat and speed or density, not really much can happen, not that we can observe. So beyond that, it's just pure, like it's just a disk of just light. Because back then, this is like the what is it? The cosmic microwave background is essentially a picture of the universe as early back as we can. Like,
Right.
I should probably go on to the timeline before I'm going way ahead of myself.
I was about to say.
Yeah, no, I've done all this thing. I'm getting way into it. But anyway, is anything I'm saying making sense so far?
I'm following you.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm following as well.
Cool.
Too much elite.
Nah, not too much elite. Well, what's going on here?
Act like we're watching Bill Nye the Science Guy, but it's Fishy guy, the space guy?
Fishy
Yeah,
guy
that's it.
talking what he thinks he might know about. Either way.
I think Raptor Jesus. Just pretty
How about we just
Raptor
call it
Jesus.
fishbowl talk?
Raptor Jesus.
Fishbowl talk, yeah. That's
I
my
like that,
universe,
that's
the
cute.
fishbowl. That was amazing.
The Fishbowl
There we go.
Podcast.
Okay, so here we go. The timeline of the universe according to Fish and NASA and
Friends.
Stephen Hawking and the European Space Agency
All
and
smart things.
And I helped.
and Bunny helped as well.
Teeny tiny bit.
Yeah,
I found pretty
Throws
pictures.
confetti everywhere.
links in the description. But yeah, I'm gonna work backwards from now till the beginning of theoretical
Tarantino
time
that shit.
and possible time. Sound good?
Tarantino that shit.
I thought you were gonna say he's gonna tear into that shit. I was gonna say like a pug that tears into a bag of chips, maybe. I don't know why.
That
a
would be
pug.
adorable.
Okay, so. Oh, actually, I've just thought of another way how we can I'll say.
And all I'm just
I'll
doing is
say how
picturing you
I
as a
can-
pug digging into chips.
Okay, I'll just do it. I'll do it anyway. So, current day, we're gonna jump quite a lot.
Don't let your dreams be dreams.
I'll show you some videos. There's not some videos, some images. There's all of human history. You know, Romans, Jesus, whatever you want to call it. I'm sorry.
Raptor Jesus.
Yeah, I was about to say dinosaurs, but then Wolf said Raptor Jesus. Raptor Jesus.
Great tie-in.
Zombie Jesus. No, I'm kidding. Futurama's awesome.
Technically, if you believe in Jesus, he was a zombie. So there's that.
I'll leave that to phone.
Another day.
Oh,
Okay.
It's-
But yeah, a lot of stuff happened. There was these crappy things, and then of course fish, and then before that there was little cells and stuff. I mean, this is backed up. I'm not going to go into it, but it's a well-argued argument. All of the fossils and stuff, and then carbon dating. For anyone who doesn't know how they do it, they use radioactive elements that decay at a certain rate and decay into certain things. Can tell if you have a test done with a sample of your teeth, they can tell where you're from down to around a 30-mile radius just by the amount of a certain isotope of strontium that's in your teeth. And this is because the amount of strontium, the radioactive isotope that is in all of the water on the Earth, all of the water has this slightly. It's not harmful radiation, There's always background radiation just from space and stuff. But yeah, that's a random fun fact for you.
Yay!
Can be tracked down where
Fun
and stuff
facts for
from your teeth.
days.
But it's,
I like how I got Fish saying fun fact.
yeah, it's using that same premise that they do
Hashtag
carbon
fun
dating
fact.
and stuff, and then obviously that can be extended further because we can back up our dating because we've known how to do it long enough that we can test our results from when we first started doing it. And yeah, we get
Fact.
but we can also do that to not just fossils and stuff, but of course the rocks and minerals and stuff to get the general idea of how long that rock has been a rock.
Mm.
So basically that's
And if there's a fossil in that rock, it helps a little bit
Yeah,
more.
that's the first, well, the past 3.5 billion years of Earth. That's life there. We're what are we? How long have we been around? 300 odd thousand years, something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head. That's the one
something
thing.
like that.
Too long.
But yeah, so
Pretty much.
not long. What is it? Something where we've been around 1/5 or something as long as the dinosaurs, something like that. If it's probably wrong, I know that it's wrong. I'm clearly stating what I know might be wrong, and the rest of it I've got fucking look in the description for
Hence,
stuff.
you're feel free to comment and correct.
Yeah, if I
Unless
do
you're a
slip up,
prick.
or if you have an opinion, I'd love to hear it. Definitely. But yeah, so life is now, let's call it T, because it's easier to get around because there's a lot of numbers coming. Now let's call now T to time. So life is the existence of life to back when there was no life is T minus 3.5 billion years. At T minus 3.8 billion years, that was when the Earth had cooled enough for oceans and water to actually form, and thus an actual atmosphere to be condensed. And of course, that's from like our, well, not quite, because we need. They reckon the first life.
I don't care. You say
created
atmosphere, and I take a deep breath.
oxygen,
It smells
because
nice.
there's no way that we had oxygen.
Delicious.
But actually, yeah, that's it there. Of course, it just clicked in my head. The first life created oxygen with, plants. They used all that carbon dioxide and created a nice atmosphere for us. But yeah, before that, lots of volcanoes, lots of carbon dioxide. What have you heard a lot in the news? Carbon dioxide heats up the atmosphere, it heats up the planet, or thickens the atmosphere, blah blah blah. Yeah. What about if we didn't have an atmosphere to begin with? Well, it gives us an atmosphere, and it gives us enough pressure gauge, so to speak, to actually have liquid water on the surface. Without pressure, you can't have liquid water. Base, I don't know what
He
happened.
got so excited.
It's probably like Mumble tuning me out. He's like, this guy's going on too much, jeez. Shut up.
He's too smart. He needs to quiet down.
But no, this is
I
just.
wasn't trying to be rude. It's just wait
No,
until
it's
you
fine.
pause so I can tell
It's
you.
fine,
Too
thank you.
precious for this world.
So where we at at the minute? We got Earth.
Fucking Mumble can't take
Yeah.
knowledge, Will. Sorry.
We got Earth. Earth. It's got atmosphere, and atmosphere means.
Oh my god, you made me snort!
Atmosphere means it can rain.
And all of
Achievement
a
unlocked.
sudden, his IQ dropped from the highest of whatever
Yeah.
it is
To Carl
to
Pilkington.
in the
Yeah.
span
Went
of
from
30
Steve
seconds.
to Carl. Great.
So basically, the T minus 3.8 billion years ago is when the ocean and atmosphere formed. So it took almost like the 200,000 odd years. I might be wrong on that. I'll get confused with the billion zeros. There's so many zeros in a billion. 200,000 odd years, I think, or 0.2 of a billion years for life to emerge. They reckon it could have been earlier, of
A long
course,
fucking
because
time.
we still haven't found the first bit. I admit that, but how are you expecting to find a complete fossil record? It's like getting all of the Pokemon cards. No one's
Especially
done
when
it, and
they have,
if they've
like-
done it, they're a liar. They're gone out and bought
Isn't
it.
it like the Marianas Trench or whatever, where the ground keeps like resurfacing itself because it would sink down and it'll melt, but then like fucking halfway around the world, there's like these things that keep gushing up lava and it keeps pushing it further down.
But,
So it just
I can't.
they can tell how old the ocean
Yeah,
floor
there
is by how far it'll
There
go.
is a opposite, a ridge, like an underwater mountain range.
Yeah, I can't remember the name.
Yeah.
I remember Marianas Trench is
Say
where
in
it
the
ends and it
comments
starts
if you
folding
know,
in on
because I'm
itself.
interested to know. I
Yeah.
remember that, but I can't remember what it's called either.
No.
It's like the opposite
So yeah,
of
with
the
the world
Marianas
keeps
Trench.
doing that, it can't exactly carbon date the core.
Well, no, but how do you think the core is hot? That's another question. Random fun fact.
Everything piled up on it, and so it builds up heat.
What happens when you have like a stone and you put it in water?
It sits in water.
Does it float or does it go
It gets
down?
wet.
It sinks.
Well,
Sinks.
it sinks. So, what is uranium and other radioactive elements also sometimes called?
Minerals.
So,
I'm gonna go for minerals.
I was looking for.
Go with that.
It's a good answer, good try, but I was looking for heavy elements.
The
This is
hell
like
is this,
Jeopardy
Jeopardy?
That's
Ding,
just
ding,
what
ding,
I
ding,
said.
ding.
Don't
I'm
copy my
sorry,
book.
but the answer we were looking for was this. Fuck
yeah.
you!
It's just
I didn't think I'd win a ticket to go on Jeopardy right now.
But yeah, heavy elements. So
We don't get the trip to
what am I
Okay.
trying to
Hawaii.
suggest with the water analogy and the heavy elements on the earth?
Gravity keeps it in the middle because technically that's the bottom.
Yeah. And what do radioactive elements do when you pile them all together in small space?
It's
They
hot.
they explode.
No.
They
Not
get
everything's
hot.
radioactive explodes.
No, that's
That's a myth.
how nuclear power plants work. Is they put radioactive stuff in water and it makes the water
Yeah.
boil, and so they create
I'm
energy from the
learning.
boiling water.
hmm
That's why you see the big steam stacks.
Because
It took me a second to see where you were going. I
okay,
got
the
it.
quick radiator reactor lesson. You have like a fuel rod, and you have another fuel rod. You have one fuel rod alone. It's kind of warm. It might do something. Yeah. You have two fuel rods next to each other. Uranium is constantly emitting radiation. In other words, high energy photons. If a high energy photon impacts a piece of matter, in other words, uranium, if there is enough energy and the matter is of high enough density, it will split, release energy and more protons, thus extenuating and extending the process. So the more of these uranium rods you get closer together, the more heat you generate. They put it in water so the water boils and it gets steam and it turns turbine and then you get your power.
And all I can think is two guys rubbing their arms together.
Learning.
It's when you
Why did I
use
take
the
a
fuel
turn?
rods and you keep using them and you keep using them in a certain way that you enrich the uranium because of all the collisions, and it's called enriched uranium, which is the stuff that they use for bombs. So yeah.
Knowledge.
Whoa. Bunny's mind's been
Knowledge
blown.
is
She don't know
power.
what to do.
No, her mind hasn't been blown. She went to dirty land.
Her vagina's been no. It's
I already
not.
know.
No, because I had said, man, when you say two rods next to each other, I just see two guys rubbing their dicks together, and you're just saying it, making it different. So, and then it ends in
I
explosion.
chose
Keep
to
using your
ignore
rod.
it. I chose to ignore
Alright.
it.
Fine.
Yes.
Continue with your knowledge. I'm just sitting here and be a dirty bird.
And yet he will not cut that part out. And he will put
Dang
it
it.
there.
Leave it all in.
Even like a little extra bit, even if a nuclear reactor does have a so-called meltdown, what that means is it doesn't mean it's going to blow up or anything. It means there's no water left. The uranium has melted into a pool at the bottom, and it's just reacting out of control and melting through the bottom of the reactor casing. So yeah.
It's out of control.
That's why it's nasty. It's like it's this dirty, nasty, radioactive shit that's melting through everything. And if you put water on it, it's not going to cool it down. You have to like put sand and stuff. Yeah,
Ah, Chernobyl.
yeah, Chernobyl.
Moving on.
Back to the subject. Where were we?
On to better
4.5
things.
billion years ago. So 3.8 billion years, we got an atmosphere. 4.5 billion years ago, the Earth and the Earth as we know it. If you want to believe this moon theory, if you don't, then prove me wrong. The Earth and the moon as we know it used to be two smaller planets, and they hit each other in the formation of our solar system. Thus, matter collecting and condensing. There is evidence of stuff, like the simplest evidence I know is of stuff collecting together in space. On the International Space Station, this guy had a bag and he just had some sugar in it. And of course, it was all dry. It's not going to be wet on the space station. They're kind of careful with their water up there, So it was inside a dry bag. He shook the bag around and they let go of it. And you could watch all these particles. And he left it for about half an hour. And eventually, he comes back and there's just one big clump of sugar in the middle. That
Delicious.
is how our planet and the moon, after hitting each other and then falling into a nice little orbit around each other, that is how they reckon our planet and the moon come from. 4.5 billion years ago. 4.6 billion years ago is when they reckon our solar system and the sun came into being, and the cloud of gas that was a star from before had already blown up and turned into whatever, or maybe turned into a black hole and already evaporated away, which is what they reckon happens with Hawking radiation.
Fun fact, people! I did not know, and then Fish educated me. I thought black holes were forever.
Black
Totally
holes
wrong.
evaporate. It takes a long time, unless they're very, very small mass, which in the early universe they would have been because of reasons that I could get to later. I need a coffee. Yeah.
Just
Someone else
Just
talk.
letting everyone know.
Someone do
Wait.
the ad break or whatever. I don't know.
Wait, I can have a smoke break?
Yeah, screw it. Where are we?
And now to our messages.
Jesus Christ! I've been talking for half an hour. I am sorry.
No, it's
It's
fine.
quite alright.
I'm kind of learning some new stuff and learning
Vince,
more
Say weird
of some
stuff.
things that
Oh,
I already
say,
knew.
penis.
But
Wow.
you see where we are. We're up to there.
No wonder
I'm
she
so proud of
fits in
you
with
all.
you so well.
But yeah, go on. That's a good
She's
time.
me at
You're welcome.
17. That's why I like.
I am a fantastic person.